What up, Tiger Nation? This is Alex Lomax, point guard from the University of Memphis. And if you want to know more about your favorite Tiger athletes off the court, visit bluffcitymedia.co and subscribe today.
Well, click, get ready for your Kodak moment. Oh, my.
Welcome to One on One, a Bluff City Media podcast. Tune in as we go one-on-one with players, coaches, and influencers from around the city of Memphis and across the nation. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Christian Fowler here with Bluff City Media, and this week I'm being joined by former Arkansas and current Memphis safety Simeon Blair. Simeon, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. First thing, let's start with obviously football. That's what you do. That's what you're known for.
Yes, sir.
Where did the love for the game come from?
The love for the game really came from my father. He put me in sports since I was 3 years old. My first sport was baseball. I thought I was going to be the next King Griffey Jr. But by the time I got to the age of 7 and stuff, he wanted to influence me to get into football because he actually played football. He played at the college level. He played in the CFL, and he played a little bit in the NFL. So he just really influenced me to pick football. He always wanted me to pick football over any other sport because that's the sport he played. And when I started to play it as a kid, I just fell in love with it. I just loved to run around, go have fun with my friends, and hit. It was just like being a kid.
Yeah. So did it come naturally? I know there's a lot of guys that parents were former athletes that just football, the game in general, came easy. So did it come easy when you started playing?
I feel like it definitely came easy just because I did it so much. So I felt like I practiced football year round because my dad, he was going to do anything that I wanted to do. So he knew I loved football. Even though I was playing baseball and basketball and track, I just always had to carry a football around with me. I was always watching Champ Bailey or Ed Reed videos on YouTube when I was a kid. It's just something I really fell in love with early.
Yeah, so speaking of like the guys you watched growing up, obviously with your dad being a former player, I know he was an influence. You just mentioned a couple guys. What was it like when you kind of get into that world of seeing how professionals do it? Because I'm sure your dad pulled up some old films and some old highlights, and then you
VHS tapes type stuff.
Yeah, and when we were growing up, like some of the best safeties in the game played. Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, you mentioned Champ Bailey, one of the best corners of all time. So how did you draw influence from all these areas, your dad and some of these pros that you watched?
My dad played cornerback, so I fell in love with the defensive side of the ball. I just love the freedom to be able to go out there and run around. You get to run and hit. That's some stuff my pops used to always say. But I drew influence like Ed Reed. I seen videos of him. He had highlights of being on special teams. And a guy that loves the game so much to where he does his position and also does special teams that'll help the entire team out, that just really gave me my drive of how I wanted to be a team player and make sure everybody else was taken care of just as well as me.
Yeah, you seen the video where he gets knocked down on the sideline.
Yeah.
He gets back up and goes and
he
busts
runs all the way
somebody
down the field and help his teammate out just so he can run on the punt return.
Yeah, that dude didn't care. He just wanted to hit people.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what the early 2000s were, just going and busting people.
And just team players.
Yep.
He played hard for Ray Lewis and everybody else on that team, and they all played because the love they had, the brotherhood they had, and that's really what made me fall in love with it too, just building bonds with people that really can't never be broken.
Right. No, absolutely true. So then you mentioned dad playing corner. Obviously, you play safety now. Was it always DB or what did all the different positions look like for you? What all did you play growing up?
I played, my first position was tight end, and then I played corner. But as I got to junior high and high school, I was really a quarterback. I loved playing quarterback. I loved having the ball in my hands. And when I was younger, I loved playing safety and corner, and I felt like quarterback ain't nothing but the safety of the offense. So you kind of just rearrange them because you're telling everybody what to do, and you're responsible for it. So I feel like quarterback was one of my favorite positions. I love to play it.
So did you play, like in high school, would you play both sides of the ball? You play quarterback and DB?
I play quarterback and safety.
Yes, okay, so you kind of got to be the leader of on both sides of the ball. What was that like, being able to control both the offense and the defense?
It's really fun because as a quarterback, when you're out there as safety, you kind of know what a quarterback wants to look for in each coverage, because you can only play so many coverages, and as a quarterback, you know how to attack those coverages. So I would know what defense we would be in, but in my head, I'd be like, if I was the quarterback, I attack this spot because I know it's the most open spot. So I felt like playing offense and defense really just gave me the chance to fulfill my game and see it from both sides of the ball.
So what were you like 3A, 4A? What was your high school?
We were 6A.
You were 6A?
Arkansas, yeah.
So being Pine Bluff, was it Pine Bluff High School?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in Pine Bluff, was it difficult getting the exposure there? Because, I mean, I went to a school in North Mississippi with a lot of guys who probably could have played at the next level, but exposure is just so difficult to come by.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely harder to get exposure from there. And that's because there were great teams in Arkansas. It just wasn't as many great teams as, say, a Texas or a Florida, where you have many. You could have a 2A school out in Florida, and they would be having many 5-star athletes.
Right.
So, and that goes inside with the trainers and stuff. Like Arkansas don't have as many trainers as Florida and Texas, but it's definitely harder to get exposure, but it makes you work harder, and I feel like that's what made me who I was today.
So when did you realize in high school or middle school, whenever it was, that you could play at the next level or you wanted to play at the next level? When did that kind of come about?
I definitely feel like it was my 10th grade year. I was playing quarterback my 10th grade year for the high school team, and I was having a lot of success, and I was starting to realize, like, I could take this farther than I knew I could. And my father would always tell me, and he would always be in my ear. But like you said, it was hard to get exposure. So from that point, I was really just grinding, trying to perfect everything I could to be the best that I could to get those eyes on me.
Yeah. And I know, like I said, I know a lot of guys that went through that same cycle, and most of them ended up going to JUCO and stuff like that. How frustrating is it when you feel like, you know, I'm good enough to be a D1 player, like I'm good enough to be getting these looks, and you're just really not getting that attention from bigger schools?
My father just used to always tell me, that ain't nothing but fuel to the fire. So sometimes you have to hear what people saying, even if it's negative, because negative comments, you can't always take them as bad things. You have to use that to make yourself better. So I would see people might say I was too small or I wasn't tall enough. That just made me go work at my game harder, because that made me more determined to prove people wrong, but also to prove myself right.
So what schools did you have scholarship offers from coming out of high school?
Coming out of high school, I had UAPB, Southern, and those was really the biggest offers I had, besides smaller colleges like Arkansas Baptist, stuff like that.
So was there a thought to go there, to go to any of those smaller schools and be on scholarship and try to work your way up? Or was it always, you know, I'm going to go D1 and I'll make it that way?
I always knew that I could play at a bigger level. And my father, he just really encouraged me. He was like, if you want to bet on yourself, me and your mom, we're gonna be here for you to bet on yourself. So when they gave me that confirmation, and I knew the type of work ethic that they had instilled in me since I was young, I said I was just gonna give it a try, because you fail out of everything that you never attempt. So
right.
I didn't want to have no regret of I could have had this opportunity, but I didn't take it. So I wanted to take that chance on myself, and I feel like I did pretty good with it.
Yeah. Were there ever any doubts, like, you know, your first year on campus?
Yeah, it was a lot of doubts when you get into them practices and you're not getting as many reps because you're a walk-on, or you're not getting all the benefits that you see everybody else getting. And that becomes overwhelming sometimes, but I would call my mom and my dad, and they'll just tell me, like, life ain't never been easy for you, and they raised me to be strong. So I felt like that just helped me get better, because I knew that at one point I was going to be that guy, but I knew when I became that guy, I was going to keep the same work ethic I had that got me to that point.
Yeah, so everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
Walk-on scholarship, D1 school, whatever, it always looks different. What was it like being a walk-on your first couple of years? What was kind of the daily life of practices and stuff like that as being a walk-on?
It was definitely hard, because just because you're a walk-on don't mean you don't have to do everything
Right.
everybody else has to do.
Right.
So you still got to go to class, you still got to go to practice, and after practice you got to go to study hall for 2 hours after practice, and your day is done at like 10 p.m. So, I mean, it was hard on me, but I felt like I was enjoying my time and also enjoying the bonds that I was building with people. Guys like Rakeem Boyd, Dorian Gerald, they were older guys, and when I was a walk-on, they used to tell me, like, we see it in you. Like, you got to see it in yourself, and you got to keep fighting. You can't let anything take away your joy from this. And when you're happy about something, that's when you're going to do your best. So they just used to stay in my ear telling me that we know you're going to be on scholarship one day, and that's just the smallest part. We know you're going to be able to start and be able to be a difference maker in games.
So earlier when we were talking, you mentioned special teams,
Yeah.
talking about Ed Reed and and just being involved and helping your team in any way that you can.
Yeah.
Did you latch on to that at Arkansas? Because that was your role, you know, as a walk-on, as a guy who wasn't expected to be a starter right away. Yeah. What was it like, you know, just being a special teams demon and coming in, locking in and saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes?
Man, my redshirt freshman year, I played on all 4 special teams, and I played every snap of special teams. And that was my first time getting on the field. So I was going out there trying to hit anybody I seen. And I was really just going out there. And I knew that at that time in my career that I could help the team in some way. And if that was playing punt return, kickoff, kick return, even though I hated kick return, nobody likes kick
Flying
return.
at dudes at 150 miles an hour.
But that's just what I had to do. And I took joy in that. I took pride in it. And I said I was going to be the best special teams player on the field because I knew that's what my job was and that's what my role was.
So then was it redshirt sophomore year or redshirt junior year that you get on scholarship?
It was my redshirt sophomore year.
Gotcha. Walk us through that. Like, what did it look like? How did they announce it to you, and what were the emotions going through that?
It was actually during the COVID year, so we didn't have a spring, and we was having a coaching change, so I was really a little worried because I wasn't able to show them in the spring about what I could do. So I just worked my tail off in the summertime, and right before the spring practice, I get told to come up to the head coach's office. And you don't know what it's about. So I'm walking up there, I'm kind of nervous, but I knew I had put in so much work. I put everything I had into it. So I walk up to his office, and he just tells me, he was like, I believe in you, and you showed me everything that you could do. You showed me you're a hard worker. You love your teammates, and you play for your team. He was like, I'm going to do you this and put you on scholarship, not because I'm giving it to you, but because you earned it. And every coach was in agreement that I worked so hard that I earned the scholarship. And first thing I did was call my parents. I cried on the phone with them. We talked with them for a little minute. And then I went on to practice and probably had the best practice I ever had that day. Definitely.
How cool of a feeling was it not only to be put on scholarship, but to hear from the coaches that had been watching you? And for a short amount of time, as you mentioned, it was a coaching change. But for them to tell you, we're not giving this to you because we have to fill scholarships. We're giving this to you because you worked hard enough to earn it. What kind of, I guess, pride and just good feelings overall did that fill you with to hear that?
Man, it meant the world to me because me and my dad, I used to get so mad at my dad because of how hard I felt like he was on me. But at that one moment, I felt like all them years of the teachings he gave me and everything, it just came to happen. Like, I seen everything that he taught me happen right in front of my eyes, and I never gave up. And if it wasn't for him and my mom actually pushing me and raising me to be so resilient, I probably wouldn't be here today at this point. So it was just a wonderful feeling. And from them, they hadn't even really seen me play football yet. They had just seen my work ethic and how I was just helping everybody else get through workouts if they were struggling. And then it just meant the world to me that they seen that in me so quickly.
So you get on scholarship, like you mentioned, new staff, start working your way into defensive reps, and then going into the 2022 season, Jalen Catalon goes down with an injury. You're a team captain, you're a leader, but you've never been in this position before. What was it like, you know, filling that void for him? Obviously, an all SEC caliber player. Yeah. So what were your thoughts when it was like, okay, Jalen's done, he's not going to play, you got to step in and fill the role and be the starter?
I mean, I felt like I was prepared for it. But everybody that's prepared for it, when you get in that moment, and they actually gave me like the captain sticker going into the South Carolina game, it was a bit of a transition. I felt like it was a little bit more on my shoulders. But that's something that I would talk to him about because he had been a captain before and he was experienced and he was wise. So he would just tell me, like, all you have to do is be you. Keep being the same person you are. That C on your chest don't make you none more, none less. He was like, just continue to be the guy you are because the guy you are is what got you captain in the first place. So you don't really have to do too much more. So I really just took that into heart. I kept being the team player I was, making sure everybody knew their assignments, whether that was watching film late at night with teammates. I just wanted to make sure that I was the best teammate, and that's what would make me a great captain.
Yeah, and how cool of an honor is that? That, you know, there's so many different accolades you can get caught up in, stats, wins, losses, and obviously those things are important, but your teammates recognizing you as obviously a veteran, but a leader and a captain on the team, is that one of the more meaningful things that you've had happen throughout your football career?
That's the most meaningful thing, because I know how much respect I have for each and every guy I've ever played football with, and the fact that people felt so highly of me, saying that they would want me to lead their team, that just meant the world to me. That just let me know that everything that I worked for, it really paid off, and being a good person and being a good teammate actually pays off in more than one way.
Okay, so we talked about the 2022 season at Arkansas. Obviously, it was a big year for you, your first year being able to be a full-time starter. Why the transfer? Why was it time, do you feel like, to move on and to I guess have a new home for a year?
I feel like it was just that time for me to have a change of scenery, and also I feel like play in a different style of defense, a style I feel like more fits what I can do, and really a style that I can really help benefit a team by me being in a position where I could actually make more plays. You know?
So what do you think are the biggest differences between the defense you ran last year at Arkansas and then Matt Barnes' defense at Memphis?
I feel like it's much more multiple. It's more of a defense where you can't really tell what our defense is going to do each and every single play. It gives a great disguise, and it's really hard for a young quarterback to be able to decipher one look before the play and then a different look after the play. So I feel like Matt Barnes has such more of a multiple defense and better disguise.
So I'm sure that was a big factor in coming to Memphis, obviously. But what were some of the other reasons, you know, their pitches or whatever it may have been? Why was Memphis ultimately the landing spot for you?
When I came here, it really just felt like home. Coach Silverfield, Coach Barnes, and Coach Clark, they all did a wonderful job of really just showing me what it really was. And they would just let me know, like, here there's no politics within it. It's the best players going to play. And then I felt like once I seen the defense that Coach Barnes was actually running, I absolutely fell in love with it. Talking to Quindell, he also told me, he was like, he felt like this is a defense that I could also thrive in because we have similar builds and similar talents.
So you mentioned talking to Quindell, getting some advice from him. What were those conversations like?
Yeah, he was just telling me about how Coach Barnes is as a coach. He's telling me how he's very hard on you, but it's all out of love. And he was also telling me how the terminology plays a big part. He was like, you have to be a communicator in this defense, especially when you're the safety of the defense. He was like, you have to be able to talk. You have to be able to get everybody on the same page. So I feel like we had a good conversation, and he told me after the first scrimmage that he liked what I was doing and everything. He was just saying, make sure that you play all out, play 100%, because that's what Coach Barnes loves, a guy that's going to go out there and put his all on the field every single time.
So is there any pressure filling his shoes, any extra pressure on you? Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, you filled the shoes of Jalen Catalon. So does this feel like a similar situation? Is it extra pressure, or is it just business as usual?
I feel like it's business as usual. I know he's a very great player, and I don't like to put too much more stress on myself than I have to, but I know where I'm coming in, and I know who I'm filling in for. So I don't take that lightly. I'm definitely going to do my best to not only make Memphis proud, but also make him proud.
Yeah. So you talked about just having a multiple defense and disguising and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too into the weeds on it because we don't want to give anything away. But having opportunities to do different things, I guess, you know, play in the box maybe, or drop back and stuff like that.
Or play the post.
Yeah. Is that part of the allure of playing in this defense, is just being able to move around and be versatile?
Definitely. It gives me the chance to show that I can do multiple things and not just really do one thing. And it also keeps the offense off balance, because when you see one player being able to do so many different things, that means the 10 other people around them can also do the same. And I feel like that's what Coach Barnes has done a great job of, really teaching us, learning both positions, really not just learning your position, but knowing what everybody else on the field is doing. That way you'll have a better understanding.
So I think at this point we're about 2 weeks, close to 2 weeks
Yeah.
into spring practice. What's the adjustment been like? Because like you said, you've had 8 to 10 practices
Yeah.
at this point and kind of getting into the swing of things. So what's it been like? What's the adjustment been like?
It's been real fun. It's been real physical practices, and that's what I love. It's been a lot of energy. Guys like Jeff, guys like Jalen Allen, they bring a lot of energy to practice, and you don't want to be that guy with the least amount of energy. And I'm a real loud person, so I want to be the guy with the most energy. So just being able to run to the ball and compete with them at getting to the ball, because if Jeff's on the field, he's probably going to be the first one to the ball. So
Yeah.
that's just another thing that I love about it. They have joy in coming out each and every day to work and to get better.
So you listen to guys that are leaders talk, whether it's going from high school to college to the NFL, transferring, whatever it is. What has that part of it been like? Because some guys say they wait a minute, they take a step back, they want to earn the respect before they start talking and
Definitely.
being loud and stuff like that. And some people just come in and they kind of assert themselves as leaders from day one.
Yeah.
What's the approach been as far as your leadership with a new team?
The approach for me has been really, when I first got there, I wanted to show everybody that I was a hard worker. And that's always been me, but I didn't want to come in and assert myself too fast. I wanted to show everybody that I work hard and show them by my actions. So that way, when I do talk, it could be respected. Because everybody don't want to just listen to a person who just comes in and just asserts himself and talks, but don't show the actions behind it. So I wanted to let everybody know that I was an action guy first, so my voice could be heard. And I feel like at this point in spring ball right now, I'm talking a whole lot more. Guys coming up asking me questions and stuff about the defense just from my experience. And I'm feeling like I'm doing a good job at helping guys as much as they're helping me.
What does it feel like to have that respect already, that some of the younger guys or just guys in general are coming up and asking questions and want to know your thoughts and opinions on things, even though you've only been here a couple months?
It feels great. It's letting me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, that somebody sees me in that light. And that really just pushes me to even want to be better, because you can either get that love and relax, or you can get that love and really take it to the next level. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take it to the next level while bringing my teammates there with me.
So for the rest of spring practice, we are less than a month, probably 3 weeks away from the actual spring game and spring being done in the transition. Yeah. What do you want to accomplish over the next several weeks before you get into summer practice and stuff like that? What do you want to accomplish throughout the rest of the spring?
Throughout the rest of the spring, I definitely want to get better at the terminology, because a lot of teams run the same stuff, but the terminology is a little bit different.
Right.
So I want to get better at the terminology and also communicating with more than just the DBs on the field. I want to get better at communicating with the DBs, the linebackers, being able to talk to the D-line, and also alert them down the distance, what plays they can get off that, and really just being vocal and being smart on the field.
So do you think the coaching change at Arkansas kind of helped? Because let's just say, hypothetically, you went through your whole career at Arkansas, same system, same terminology. Would it be more difficult? Because you did have 2 years in, you had a transition in coaching, kind of had to relearn. Do you think that's helped you transition to a new school?
Oh, definitely. Being around different coaches, it brings different knowledge. And I'm able to pair the knowledge that I got all 4 of these years from college with Coach Barnes' knowledge. And I feel like that's really a great thing to have. Sometimes I feel like you need to open your mind up to newer, different things, because sometimes it can help you. And Coach Barnes has changed the technique of my man coverage, which I feel like has helped me an immense deal.
And so we talked about your goal for the spring. Obviously, after that, it's summer. It's the grind. It's strength, conditioning. It's not in pads hitting each other. It's focusing on everything else. So what's the goal in that time? And what typically is a summer like for you? Like, what are you typically focusing on? What are you growing and learning in throughout the summer to prepare for the actual season?
In the summer, that's really when I want to start familiarizing myself with my opponents. I want to start get a jump on them before they get a jump on us, because it's always better to study your opponent now rather than having a week, because when you get into the season, you only have about 5 days to really study your opponent. If you can do that in the summer, you're gaining so much more time, you're gaining so much more ground. I also want to definitely work on my speed. That's something that I always take advantage of in the summertime. Them legs pay the bills, especially when you're playing DB.
Right.
So I want to make sure I'm staying in shape, taking care of my legs, and really just studying the playbook.
And then for the season itself, obviously we got a few months still, got a minute before season rolls around. But what are the expectations playing in the Liberty Bowl? Oh, Liberty Bowl. Yeah. Look at me. I don't even know the right name anymore. Simmons Memorial, Liberty. There's too many names now. Yeah. But playing here, playing at Memphis, what are the expectations for you of kind of that first game and then just throughout the season?
To be honest, the only goal is to win the conference. That's what I'm here to help each and every player on this team, just like they are to help me. We're going to come out here and we're going to try to do our best to win every single game. And that's really the goal. The goal is, I mean, of course I have goals for myself, but I know if we reach the goal of winning the conference championship, everybody can have their goals at hand.
Yeah, so is that kind of your mindset and has been your mindset? Like I said, stats are important. Yes, you want to have individual success, but do you feel like if the team has success, that probably means you're having success as well?
Yeah, definitely. Because if the team's having success, that means every player – because football is a game where it's 11 people on the field at one time. So all 11 players have to be doing the right thing for that one play to be a success for your side. So if we're winning games, I feel like everybody's going to be having the stats that they want because we're doing the job that we're supposed to do.
Well, Simeon, I appreciate you for joining us. It was good talking to you, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me here today.
No problem at all. No fans can't wait to see you on the field. Before we get out of here, everyone head over to bluffcitymedia.co. Check out everything we got over there. If you're checking this video out on YouTube, you can also catch all of our podcasts on YouTube and also wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you back next week.
Thank you for listening to One on One. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like and a comment wherever you download your podcasts. Head over to www.bluffcitynil.com where you will find comprehensive coverage of Tiger athletics and how you can become a contributor. We will see you back here next time.